Mixed bag. All right, I'm going to keep going. There's 1.5 million realtors and around 500,000 listings. Now, the interesting part about that is there are 3 real estate agents to every one listing. That is a very competitive environment. So as we talk about all of these different touch points about client experience, what you choose to do with your clients is more important than it ever has been before. Every touch point, every scenario, every last single thing. So before we get into bulk email, bulk email is just another form of communication. And before we get into the specifics of it, before you send anyone any email message, ask yourself these questions. What is the purpose of this email? How am I adding value to the other person? And did the person want or ask to receive this information? If you look at this whole 3 versus 3 to 1 environment, a lot of us are sending out emails that are changing the views that people have on us for no reason. There is no reason for the majority of us to send half the emails that we do. And bulk email is a personalized way to communicate with people. Now, because of canned spam laws and internet rules, there have been some changes in the way that your bulk email shows up in someone else's inbox. So please send a message to yourself and make sure you're okay. Because one of the things with newsletters they used to say is don't write a newsletter to Laura Lynn that says, hey, Laura, really appreciate you, took the time to put this together for you. And at the bottom of it has an unsubscribe button. So don't do that with bulk email either. You know, you used to be able to do these cool tricks where you could toggle the signature off and write sent from my iPhone, but then now it has the unsubscribe underneath it, so it makes it a little more challenging. And I apologize, I don't have much of a voice today. I'm at the tail end of like a terrible flu and some antibiotics, so my apologies in advance. So as we get into bulk email, think of bulk email as a personalized way to communicate with large groups of people. And now this all goes back again to our CRM and how organized and clean is our system. Because if you look at all of your stuff and there are 10,000 people, how can you really find the few hundred people that really make a difference to you and your business? So step 1 is go back to your core 4. Look at who those categories of people are. Number 2, make sure your core 4 is tagged appropriately. And remember, in the spreadsheet, there were areas to put people's like age, demographics, and certain things like that. Number 3, simplify. Simplify this. Number 4, don't complicate steps 1, 2, and 3. You got to get rid of people. That's like the most important thing in this. And so now when we're doing this, start thinking about tags, start thinking about categories. How are you breaking up people? So every tag should equal a Google alert, right? So tag, Google alert. And a tag is nothing more than a way to identify somebody. Like, look, this is a t-shirt, right? So if I'm looking at my t-shirts, I could have collared shirts, I could have t-shirts, I could have long sleeve shirts, I could have button-up shirts, I can have shirts with cufflinks. These are all different types of shirts. Now, each one of those shirts, if they're in a CRM, they'd be a tag. So you want to start tagging people based on their interests. Now, if I were an agent and I was going through this right now, I would make sure to go through and just pick my transactions for the last 12 months and slowly start going back to the beginning of COVID. And I would find those groups and I would find what those key tags are. Great things are if they're in a certain area, the geographic location, because there's always town specific. Kids under 10, empty nesters. If people have certain hobbies, right? There are people that are boating enthusiasts, there are people that are foodies, there are people that are fitness addicts, people that like health. Now think about this. If I'm looking at Shannon, who's on my screen today. Hello, Shannon. How are you? Let's give us a smile. All right. And look, if I look at Shannon and I sell him a home, and now I have a very curated approach. I know where he lives. I know the things that are important to him. I'm sending segmented, thoughtful, bulk emails, calling him up like, hey, Shannon, I sent you this event. You said your kids really like this stuff, all predicated based on listening and documenting. And from there, he wanted to share the experience of another person looking to buy or sell a home. Don't you think that experience with me would be a little more different, thoughtful, and be a lot more energetic about it than if I just sold them a home and just sent them random information? If I just sent them all my just listed, just sold, here's another open house? Of course. So when you look at how competitive this market is, all of these touch points are so important. And it goes back to listening, right? Because in the end, when you don't feel listened to, you don't feel good. So when somebody sends you an email that you didn't want, do you feel like they heard you? No. Do you feel that they understand you? No. Do they feel that they care about you? No. Are you literally building the stereotype that you work against? Yes, you are. We're not salespeople, we're relationship builders and connectors and facilitators and advisors. But if you go back, and I challenge everyone to do this, go back and look at the last 10 emails you sent clients. What do those emails say about you? I challenge all of you. Because the idea that you create one email that impacts everyone in your list the same is crazy. It's called segmented marketing. We need to segment our list based on people, interest, location, and start sending them more targeted messages. All right, so the next part to this, production timeline. How many people are familiar with production timelines? Okay. I can't see as many people on the screen today, but not many. So normally speaking, we're like, we'll send an email out on Friday. Not that we've picked different lists and group, but Friday we're going to send an email. You know what happens, Laura Lynn? Friday comes and we start panicking. I need to send an email. I need to send an email. I need to send an email. So what do? Do you come up with this crafted, thoughtful, caring message? No, it's like crisis care. It's like, I need to get something fixed. Let me get it fixed. The email goes out the door. So number one in production timelines is pick a date. What is the frequency, right? Excuse me. First, segment your list, right? I have this category, this category, this category. Pick 4. It should align with your core 4 from the beginning of the year. Number 2, how often are you going to mail each category? Number 3, have you set up a Google alert for the things that are important to them? Or do you have to? Google alerts are key to getting information. Number 4 goes to number 3, and you can flip-flop them. Have I tagged and identified these people in an easy and simple way that I know how to have effective conversations? So this is the basis of a production timeline. So say we identified, today's Monday, Laura, and the email is going out Friday. So I need to have draft 1 done, I would say, by tomorrow, by 3 p.m. And then that draft, if someone has to proofread it, edit it, give feedback, goes out by 3 p.m. The person receiving this, looking at it, editing, has to have a deadline within whatever time stipulated. Please send back any comments, revisions, or edits by this time. Let's say it's Wednesday at 3 p.m. Now, Wednesday at 3 p.m., you go through the email, you make your final round of revisions, comments, suggestions, send it back to the other party. They send you a finalized back by Thursday at 3 p.m. It's done. It goes out the door. But now you've accounted for feedback, grammar, editing, and everything else. So every email that goes out should be scheduled by the close of business the day before. And you need to ask yourself the question, right? What do I want somebody to think? How do I want them to feel? What do I want them to do? What is the purpose of this email, right? What is the action that you're going to have them take, or the reason you're sending it? And ultimately, how does this add value to another person? Are we all good with that? So you should start looking at your bulk email and start to plan out a quarter at a time. We need to start playing offense here, right? So let's talk about bulk emails we can send. You know that based on certain areas that you live, there's certain events that happen in the community annually. You can set that up as a bulk email that goes out for everyone that lives in a geographic area. So if you guys are selling in communities, 4th of July is coming up, that's an easy one to send stuff out for, right? Same thing with, like we talked about, building local pages. You can really easily go interview great local places for summertime happenings. Favorite staycation for a day. That's another bulk email that can go out. Start thinking about this systematically, strategically, and writing the emails out in advance. The more you plan in advance, the more engaging you can make them, the more unique you can make them. It's very hard, Laura Lynn, to plan everything on a Friday afternoon when I want to write this super cool email about an awesome staycation that we could have in Seattle. So we're looking at how do we get started, right? The before is segmenting your list, making sure you have the tags, having a plan, looking at your production calendar. The during is how do I pull the information out of Google? What are the emails I'm sending? And after, if you send somebody a very thoughtful bulk email of something you know it's going to be valuable to them, guess what the easiest thing to do after that is, Laura? I can call them. Hey, Laura, it's Chirag. I know when we were looking at houses, you shared you and your husband really loved doing this. We just sent you an email that had all these awesome staycations, and I know how much you like going on them. So just want to make sure, as you're busy, that you take a look at the email and let us know if any of them interest you. Very simple, very low hanging fruit, right? But it's something really valuable. When you think of people and you listen to people, it makes all the difference in the world for somebody else's experience. And for a world that's getting more and more squeezed, a market that's getting more and more cramped, I think this is more and more important than ever before. Remember, 10% of your database will send you a referral if you market to them correctly. 10%. That is a fairly high number. Remember, direct mail converts at 1 to 2%. So we understand production timelines. We understand how to segment our lists. We understand how to tag people. We understand the different types of bulk emails. Bulk emails equals Google Alerts. So you can just write the equals there, just make it really simple. You find categories, you set up Google Alerts, you put your own spin on the article, send the link, and send it in bulk email. That's it. So bulk email is another one of these topics that we went through relatively quick. We're doing good on time. So I want to touch base on a few other things that are actually really important to just your business as a whole. So over the last 3-4 weeks, however long it's been that I've been on this roadshow, I've probably spoken to 1,400 agents. Do you know less than 10 agents that practice or pitch more than 5 hours in their life? That's crazy. We all need to understand, I call them learning maps. We need to understand what are the skills that we need to master to be competitive in this market going forward. See, no matter what happens with all of these different things that we want to generate as leads, you still have to talk to people, guys, gals. If you don't know how to talk to people, you will always lose money and business to other people in this industry. You better make that list and start practicing. 3 to 1. You know what that says, Son Sasso? Whoever has the best pitch, which means whoever can have the best conversation with the seller, is the one that's going to win the business. So how many of you are ready for this world? It scares me. You look at these 4 questions. What makes you different than other agents? What exactly are you going to do to market and sell my home for the best price? What's your communication plan? How are you? And the last one is, what is your company offer and how's it different than other ones? How do you answer those 4 questions? I've heard people say it, right? As soon as you answer the question, how are you different than the other agent, it turns into a boxing match. Did you know that? That is the one question you should never answer to anybody. How am I supposed to know how I'm different than other people? It's an impossible question to answer. Do you know why people ask that question? Because they're trying to understand if you offer what they want or what they perceive they want. But they're not trained salespeople, so they ask in these awkward, wonky ways. Your marketing plan. Do we all have written marketing plans and calendars? Do we know how to use the right words and use anchoring statements and framing to get the seller to agree every single step of the way that what we offer is best for them? Communication plan. Do we have a communication plan? Are you using our communication plan? How do you share it? And ultimately, when somebody says, well, what's different about Compass or any of these other companies? What's the value of your technology? How do you guys answer that? If you've not mastered those 4 things, you need to start practicing them. 3 agents to everyone listening. If you're working with buyer's agents and somebody says, well, what do you do for me that I can't do for me myself on my own? And your answer is, I protect your best interest. I'm your advocate. You're not going to get paid money for much longer, especially is the way that these court trials are moving forward. They said by the end of the first quarter, the one in Chicago, I believe, should go forward. I want you all to be prepared. So if you think about it, we give you guys the training, we've given you guys the notes, we've given you guys the action steps, we've given you guys access to all of each other, we've given you guys access to expert mentors. For things to change for you, you have to change. Jim Rome. Look, our calendars, it is the definition of success and not success. So you want to start taking your calendar and you really want to start practicing these things. I can't tell you how important it is before. Can't tell you how important it is to document every objection down that you get. It's really a clarifying question. I want you guys to start understanding, how do you care about everyone in your database as if they're your only client as your first day on the job? If they're your only client your first day on your job, you would not treat them or send them emails the way you do, because you wouldn't want them to think anything about you that's bad, because you needed that client. We need to work like somebody's chasing us, because there is someone chasing us. We just don't realize it half the time. Think about it. 10, 12 years ago, Compass didn't even exist. And every one of these companies got by like not treating the agents like you guys fairly. And look at what happened. Someone came along and was more focused, treated the clients better, which is all of you, offered a better service, was innovative, and the rest is history. Look at every single industry that did not innovate. The innovation in real estate, yeah, there is technology, but there's also this human element to this that has not changed. And I believe that is the evolution. Look at Uber. Imagine 10 years ago, somebody said that you would take out your cell phone, hit a button, and get in a car with a random stranger. You'd be like, yeah, right, stranger danger. See you later. Well, I believe this world is coming. If you're not organized, you're not obsessed over the client experience, you don't know how to have effective conversations with people, it will cost you money or your business as a whole. Because when that ruling happens for buyer's agency, that is going to create a squeeze in this industry like none of you have ever felt. So look at your emails, look at the way you talk to people, look at the way you follow up. Some great tags. If people click your email, call them clickers. If people show up to an event, label the people that show up to the event, so these people click my email, they show up to the event, and they've sent me more than $50,000 in business, the lifetime value of the customer. Now you know how to use bulk mail to get in touch with these people. This is all about curated luxury. That's what all of this is. Luxury speaks to you. You're never mass marketed in luxury. So who has some questions about any of this? Drop it in the chat. And look, coming up in the next few weeks, we're going to send a private webinar just for the people in Playbook. And I really want to spend an hour with you guys, helping you guys understand how to get the most out of coaching, how to take notes, how to time block your calendar, how to really look at a program that says, okay, I'm here for 6 months. This is how I get ROI in my investment. Because there's not that much that you need to have happen at the end of 6 months for this to be a 20, 30, 40, 50, 100+% return. And when we hear people are stuck, they don't have time, they need time to implement, the whole point of coaching is to get your time back. So if you feel like you don't have the time to do this, is exactly why you need to sign up. Because if you don't, you're never going to have the time. All of us in anything we do are left based on our life experiences and our capacity. The experiences we have create the capacity we have to learn or do anything. What are the questions is what makes you different than other agents? What are you going to do to market my home and get the highest price? The third one is, what is your communication plan? The fourth one is how's your company different, and how does Compass Technology help me sell my home in ways that other brokerages can't? Okay, perfect. Here come the questions. Arash said that you should not send emails to other agents. Yeah. When I was in Chevy Chase in Maryland, I was saying, look, we all are looking to build better relationships with other agents. What does that say about me if I'm sending Sean in San Francisco all these different emails? Am I just listed? Or my favorite one is price reduction. Let me just send emails to other agents that say I priced properties incorrectly. Stop sending other agents all of your property emails that they never wanted, they never signed up on. That is not the way to build a relationship. And by the way, it's price improvement, not price reduction. Words do make a difference, but just stop doing that. There's no reason to. The next question we have is, how do you get the most out of participate in an accountability group? Jim, the most is getting out of it is, number one, you want to build a closeness in the group. So the group should meet like this, but the group, if it's 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, 5 people, 6 people, should be in a text chain or WhatsApp thing. And you guys need to have daily check-ins. That's how you want to do it. And the way that the accountabilities group work is that if somebody doesn't do the work, kick them out. That's the best gift that you could give somebody, is the truth. So have a very clear policy, show up and continue to engage with each other outside of the calls. All right. Not a question, but a scenario that happened. I had a buyer email me today saying they chose to work with another agent because I was sending them too many homes and collections. I was reviewing each property before they were sent, but the clients, they did not feel it fit their needs. What would you have done differently? Well, look, in doing this differently, you would go through the collection, and generally speaking, if there are a lot of choices, that means they have a very broad home search. So you're gonna say, I want this to work for you. If I select these properties, I can send them to you, but based on the way that you have your criteria, this is gonna mean that I'm gonna send a lot of things to you, which could mean that you could view it one of two ways. One, we're viewing this as a partnership where I'm doing the initial filter, I'm putting some notes in, and then you're making sure that any of your nuances are met to make sure it's really right for you to go look at. Or the second one is you can look at it as if you're doing my job. And I can only do this as effective as a partner you are in providing the information. So what would work best for you? Helping people understand from the beginning what an experience is going to be like is really important, right? And sometimes sending too many, having that answer that they gave why they went to another agent sometimes is not really the truth. Because if you're filtering them and doing all the work and that's what they said, doesn't sound like a really logical agent, logical reason. So there's more there, but look, in the end, just go back, tweak your process, find better questions, and keep moving forward. So it's 10 o'clock in the morning, Pacific time. I'm on the West Coast. So I hope everyone has a great start to the day. My friends on the East Coast, hope you guys have a great afternoon. And with love in my heart, I will see you all tomorrow. Bye, everybody.